Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is James in Nashville, and let's go over an awesome episode 15 of Season 11 of The Walking Dead. Spoiler alert if you're not caught up. I thought this was an awesome episode, and the last several episodes have been really great and leading to what seems to be going to be an awesome finale for the Part B of the three-part final season of The Walking Dead. And again, I thought it was a great episode. The pacing, the acting, the writing, actually, so awesome. We open up at the building and Lance and some soldiers, Daryl's there, Gabriel and Aaron, and Lance is questioning them. Daryl's kind of looking around and trying to see what's going on, and I think he kind of sees the truth as well. Lance, he kind of, I think, sees it as well, even though Gabriel and Aaron are lying to him. But things really get fuzzy when he says, let's go to Hilltop and talk to Maggie. Hey, we got to warn her that there's some bad, evil murderer people out there. So we got to at least warn her. We get a moment with Mercer and Princess. We see they are actually a couple now. If we had any questions or anybody had any questions, they are a couple, just like in the comic. And this was a scene where Princess totally could tell something is bothering Mercer. And we'll get to that later where he actually tells her. But then Eugene and Rosita get together and call in Connie and Kelly because they're newspaper reporters and think they should probably tell them about what happened at the house with Sebastian, with April, the people that had been taken to try to get the money. And then Connie pulls out the list. April's name seems to be on it. There's a lot more names on the list, so there's more investigating and stuff to do. And they're like, man, I wish we had an inside person. And Eugene, funny Eugene, I thought that was a cool little moment. He raises his hand and says, I might know someone. And I swear I said, oh no, out loud, I think, when I saw this shot. When Carol was walking Judith and RJ to school, I'm like, no, not Carol with the kids, not Judith, not RJ. But she's just walking the kids to school. And of course, Ezekiel comes out and they have a little back and forth. But Carol says, no, not right now. But fate will bring them together later on in the day. So on their way to Hilltop, they run across some walkers in the woods, and Lance says, let's see what you guys can do. So he puts Gabriel and Aaron, and Daryl helps out as well, killing the walkers, and it does a little close-up on Lance's face where you're like, yeah, you're an evil dude. So then we get to Tommy, and he's got a bottle of alcohol and some pills. He just lost a patient that morning, so he's having some tough times just with himself. And Ezekiel comes in, the ray of sunshine he seems to be after his surgery, and it's like, I need your help, dude. And so they start on a mission that we're not really sure what's going on. We know Ezekiel knows a lady that needs a surgery that she can't go into the hospital and go into debt. And that's a big thing. All these people, there's a lot of people that need medical attention that can't afford it, that don't want to go into debt, so they just don't go get help. And Ezekiel knows one of them and is trying to help them. And of course, we find out more later. And Eugene, being funny again, looking through his bag of green stuff, he goes to meet Max and tell her, hey, I need your help to steal some files. There's some stuff going on with Sebastian and all this kind of stuff. It involves the Miltons. And she's like, man, you're reaching too far. They don't really need to be seen together. They get interrupted. All that works out. But then we see Lance and that group arrive at Hilltop, and it's the confrontation that we have already seen a little bit before in that first episode of Daryl and Maggie saying, hey, Maggie's like, why do you trust him? Why should I trust him? And Daryl's like, you should trust me. So finally, Maggie agrees to let them in to look around. Lance said he definitely wanted to warn them, but he also wants to rule them out. And then we see Max going to talk to her brother, Mercer, about what's going on and that he should do more and be more. And people will literally look up to him, do something, dude. So that was kind of the push, the nudge, I think, that Mercer needed. And then Lance, of course, did the thing with a truck. What a snake. What a slimy little snake would do something like that, right? But he is trying to get to the bottom of it, and he is who he is and doing what he thinks he needs to do. So, yeah, he knows about Maggie. We'll find out in a sec. And in a great scene, I thought, of course, when Tommy and Ezekiel were trying to steal supplies from the hospital to go help that person, they got caught. And who comes to help them? Carol. Ezekiel said, I sure was hoping you were mixed up in this somehow where you could come save us. And he was correct. And Carol, when she steps into the door, I kind of laughed out loud. That was pretty funny, knowing, oh, it's Carol. Carol's going to save him. And she did give them some looks. And you did notice that Carol said, thank you for the discretion. And she was brought in by the soldiers and not a lot of questions asked. People know Carol, or the soldiers know Carol. People working for Lance know Carol. Lance has probably told them Carol is on his side. You can trust her. You can get her to do things, or she's one of us. So, that moment also showed a lot of insight into that look that Carol had when she turned away from Lance the last episode, when she was finding out about the house and Sebastian and the money and all that stuff. Carol's in pretty good, it seems like, with Lance and the whole crew. She probably knows about the plumbers. She's the inside person. Man, I mean, Carol is just in the perfect spot, right? The perfect warrior, apocalyptic queen in the perfect spot. But Ezekiel finally talked her into saying, hey, come look what I'm doing. And it was pretty amazing. It was disguised as an animal hospital, but it was really for people. I guess they work on animals too. They would have to at some point. But hey, all these people that can't afford the hospital and stuff, Ezekiel, with his second chance that Carol gave him, is trying to do something good. And Carol recognized that. And they had a little talk, and it was sweet and everything. She said, we're not getting back together. And he's like, just give it a little time. We'll have to see about that. So he's really, really optimistic. He's really positive, and I think that's really awesome. One thing I want to say about Tommy and the bottle and the pills and stuff like that is, when we first come across him, he's Yumiko's brother. He was at the bakery, and she exposed him, or they exposed him somehow, through as a doctor. And so he was moved up into that position. It's not clear, like, let's say Tommy's the baker and he lied about being a doctor and they find out now he's a doctor, or they let him be a doctor. Do they do anything? Do they say, well, why didn't you want to be a doctor and be up in the upper echelon to begin with, and ask him those questions? And is that not an issue or whatever with them? Oh, you're a doctor. Cool. You were a baker? Oh, but you're really a doctor before? Come on up to the upper level, to the high society. It seems like there might be a little tension there somehow through that transition, but the pills in the bottle and losing the patient and the stress and the tension with all of that is probably a big reason why he would rather bake cakes. Talk about a much more stress-free environment at the bakery than what he's doing now and what he did before, and he probably just wanted away from that. So I was telling you guys that I went to Fandemic in Atlanta just a couple weekends ago, and so many people were there, and actors and things like that at little booths, and Princess was there and always had a long line. It seems like people in the comments may not like her as much, but man, they sure did at the festival. She was one of the most sought out actors. And James Michael Shaw was there also. He plays Mercer. I didn't go talk to Prince's actress, but I did go up and just meet at least James Michael Shaw. Nice dude, just down to earth. Really happy to be there and be meeting the fans and stuff like that. So I just wanted to say, when I watched this episode, it wasn't big, it wasn't long, there wasn't a lot to it, but man, I thought she did good as well, and they work well together. But I thought in this scene, he did such a great job emotionally conveying his message. Just the pauses and just everything worked really well. A great scene and great acting from James Michael Shaw. And then we get to Hilltop again, and Herschel Jr. is squatted there at Glenn's grave. So that's a moment, definitely a moment. But then the snake comes out of the cellar, and something I didn't see coming at all, he had his hat. Little Herschel left his hat behind. Lance found it. It's a perfect fit. It's the whole Cinderella slipper thing. So Lance knows for a fact that Maggie, he had already figured it out, I'm pretty sure, but that was just the icing on the cake. He knows for sure, and he looks at Maggie and says, I sure wish we could have been friends. And that's definitely like a dum-dum-dum. And Max comes to see Eugene and says, okay, I'll help you. And they kind of get together as far as, hey, we can work this out, I think. We talked on the radio. We know we have so many interests and we like each other. Let's start over. Let's start over and actually try to help people and do this thing. And Eugene, what he says, I am with you. I'm behind you 100%. Do anything to help you, keep you safe. Eugene just jumped right in, and they kissed, and it's all good. So as the ending came around, Daryl came and was telling Gabriel and Aaron that we're not going back to Commonwealth. We're staying out here looking for the people that took the guns and stuff. And a soldier said, we got a lead on something. And they go and find Leah. Yep, she's got the guns. They get the jump on her a little bit, but she comes out pointing the gun at Lance saying, yeah, if you want to talk, you're saying you want to talk, talk. And he says, hey, I got a job for you. So it looks like we're going to get a face-off or some type of battle against Leah and Hilltop going against Maggie. But Maggie took Herschel in the trailer and went out to get Negan and stuff. So I'm wondering if they all go try to get away and Leah has to pursue them. Does Maggie stay at Hilltop and somehow some other people die and stuff like that? Man, it could get really ugly with Leah coming after Maggie and possibly the rest of Hilltop. I was thinking Lance may go down by the next episode, but it looks like maybe not. There's a lot of tension there. I thought when Daryl pointed the gun at Lance, it's like, dude, Lance is just going to let that go? And it seems like he did. Daryl was out in the woods at night, with them afterwards, after Hilltop. So if you're asking why Lance didn't say at that moment, hey, but I found the kid's hat there and I come back and put his hat on and it fits, the truck, mud on the tires and stuff, it just seems too fishy. I think you guys were involved. Then that would not have went well in that moment. Lance directly accusing Maggie, saying we're going to have to arrest her or something like that. The big question is, what would Daryl have done? Because he would have seen that, okay, I don't know if he would have called that a smoking gun and what he would have done. He still got Judith to think about back at Commonwealth. So why did Lance back down and say, hey, I'm sorry, it's just miscommunication? Because he knew he was going to try to take out Maggie regardless later. Like, okay, I know you did it, and you're probably working with some others and stuff. I'm going to take care of this. You're guilty. I wish we could have been friends, but I'll get you later. But a lot of things happening, a lot of things going on. Great episode. The trailer looks like it's going to be an awesome finale episode for part 2. It's definitely a sad thing when I think about it. Only 16 more episodes, only one more part to go after this next episode. And that's it of The Walking Dead. We're going to get other stuff, it seems like, but what are we going to do? One thing you can do right now is let me know what you think about it down in the comments below, and I will join you there. This is James in Nashville. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Dead stuff.